He's super funny. You know him, you love him. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Gaar!
Thanks, guys. Thank you for that intro. So I'm 39 years old, and I love to play video games, but I'm way too old to be good at video games anymore. Like the other day, I was trying to play this game, Black Ops, online, and these kids online were just mocking me relentlessly because I was so bad at it. And at one point, one of them asked me how old I am, and I told him 39, and his response made me feel 139. He was like, "How old are you?" 39. And he said, "Wow." And then he goes, "I respect that." What the hell does that mean, ma'am? Like I'm Gandalf from Lord of the Rings all of a sudden at 39. I get all preachy with him. I'm like, yes, when I was a child, video games weren't digital. They came in cartridge form. And sometimes we had to blow on them to get them to start. And sometimes, to save our game, we had to remember a 32-digit password and write it down in the back of the instructions. But most games didn't save at all. So if you were playing Double Dragon for 4 hours and your dad came in and turned off the Nintendo because it was time for dinner, well, guess what you got for dessert, you little shit? Fucking 4 more hours of Double Dragon. Like, I beat Mega Man and Battletoads. I got a resume. I'm an adult. I was in Best Buy the other day buying a new controller for my PlayStation, and I get there, and Best Buy is selling a whole row of PlayStation controllers in the shape of calculators. And I'm like, nice try, math. It's not what I'm here for today. But then I find what I'm looking for in the back. It was an arcade style, like a professional grade joystick. It was awesome. It cost me $150. I got it home, and my wife at the time was like, "Why did you spend that much money on something this pointless?" Which I don't think is fair, because she had a master's degree in English. And can't beat Street Fighter with that shit, y'all. It's not. I've been playing video games and reading comics my whole life, and it drives me crazy that all that's cool now. Like, being a nerd is cool. Like, I saw this 20-year-old kid the other day with just full sleeves on his arms. Just looked like he went to prison for downloading too many Doctor Who episodes. But the worst is when I see like LeBron James or Russell Westbrook in the postgame and they got the chunky librarian glasses on, or Ashton Kutcher talking about how he loves to play Dungeons and Dragons. And I see my people's culture stolen like that. I'm just like, oh, this is how the Indians must feel. This is... I was on my favorite website the other day, Yahoo Answers. Have y'all ever been? It's the best. People ask the most random shit, and as a society, we have decided whatever gets 5 stars is the correct answer. Like, 3 people gave it 5 stars. Do you know more than these 3 people? I was on Yahoo Answers and someone asked this of the internet. Should I name my son Pinocchio? I think it's unique and cute. Best answer, 5 stars. Don't think of the name as being for a child. Think of it as being for a future adult. No one would ever take him seriously in the adult world, not to mention the teasing he'll have to go through. Please don't name your son Pinocchio. Person responds, okay, thank you. Like a stranger on the internet just saved a kid from being named Pinocchio. How screwed up are we as a society? Why did a parent think it was okay to name a kid Pinocchio? You might be asking yourself. And I'll tell you why. It's because all y'all people in your 20s, it's because y'all outlawed bullying. That's why. And you might think, oh no, that's great. Bullying's illegal now. That's great. That's a good thing. No, it's not okay. It's not okay we don't have bullies, because now we've got 6 different genders. And we've got grown men who are into My Little Pony. And that would not have happened when I was a kid. Like, you might not like bullies. You might not like bullies, but you like the results of bullying. You might not like bullies, but one day you're going to be happy that you don't have a son that wears a fedora and speaks Klingon and plays piccolo in the Renaissance Fair on the weekend and is a polyamorous atheist who's really into Rand Paul. You're glad you don't have that kind of kid. You got a bully to thank for that. Bullies are going to make sure you have grandchildren one day. I went to public schools in the 80s. Teachers would just let bullies finish. Be like, no, let them finish. You got to start going by your middle name, Pinocchio. It's not happening. Yahoo Answers. What do you think of the name latrine? I think it's so beautiful, but every time I tell someone, friends included, that I'm going to name my baby girl this, they laugh, but they won't tell me why. Help, please. Why is this name so funny? Best answer, written by someone named Brian Gaar. I think it's a beautiful name. Go for it. Sorry, latrine. I'm going to do a couple more just to... So sorry, Cal. I've got a kid. I've got a 3-year-old. Any other parents? Sorry. She's great now, but for the first year of her life, she would not sleep. And at first you don't care. Like, you're so freaked out, especially if it's your first kid. Like, you're so freaked out when you get her home from the hospital that it's your own baby. That it could be like 3 a.m. on a weeknight and she's crying and you're like, oh my God, this is my baby crying to me. Life is amazing. Fast forward a week later. And it's 3 a.m. on a weeknight, and the baby's crying, and you're like, oh my God, she's still going. If I give her back, will I go to jail? Fast forward a week later, and it's 3 a.m. on a weeknight, and the baby's crying, and you're like, oh my God, that woman who drowned her kids in the tub was a soldier. If you didn't laugh at that, you don't have kids. They're like, oh my God, he's a monster. And they're like, yes! Finally, someone said it! You get a lot of stuff, though, with a baby. Like, you get a lot of toys. Like, we got a talking Elmo doll recently. Have y'all seen Talking Elmo? He's kind of like the old Teddy Ruxpins from the 80s. Like, it'll record your voice. So you push a button and Elmo will record whatever you say and then say it back to you in the Elmo voice. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I got it out and I started playing with it. And then I get drunk because I'm just trying to get through this life. But I forget that when I get drunk, I like to look up 9/11 conspiracy theories on the internet. So for the rest of the night, it's just me and Elmo on my laptop, like watching some documentaries. 2 weeks later, we're at my grandmother's for Mother's Day so she can see the baby. And my grandmother's 92 years old from Monroe, Louisiana. She loves Fox News. She loves George Bush. And she's playing with my daughter, and they get a hold of Elmo, and Elmo tells them, a missile hit the Pentagon! And they're like, what, Elmo? And he's like, only a controlled demolition could have brought down those towers! And everybody looks at me, and I'm like, just look at the evidence. I was drunk then, too, in that part. I got a nephew. He's 6 years old, and he's hilarious because he's always just doing something stupid. He brought a math test home from school that he had failed, and he had failed the math test because instead of doing math, after every question, he had just written Aquaman rules. And my sister was like, oh my God, is my kid an idiot? And I'm like, I think so. Aquaman doesn't have any good powers. Like, he's way off base here. I think about superpowers a lot, though. Do y'all ever think about that, what your superpower would be? Like, everyone's like, hell yeah, dude. They're the big ones, like flying, or you could turn invisible and watch people shower for like 10 years until that got old. I wouldn't go with any of the major ones, though. If I had to pick my own superpower, I think I would just go with God's complete lack of accountability. Because, like, that way, if I did something cool at my job, people would think it was a miracle. But if I screwed up, they would just be like, wow. Brian works in mysterious ways. It's not. I know he takes 3-hour lunches. I'm not going to say anything to him. My ass wants to go to heaven, personally. I'll do one more and get out of here. I'm divorced. Any divorced people? Yeah. Don't be ashamed. It's the best decision I ever made. It was the best. If some of y'all are married, try divorce. It's great. It's hard, and people are like, oh, that must have been so hard, and this part is great, but it's hard to ask someone for a divorce because that is really the coldest thing to ever say to another person. Because if you're like, hey, I want a divorce, what you're really saying is, hey, I know you better than anybody else on the planet, and I'm gonna pass. It was hard though, like my ex was really rich, so we got to do a lot of cool stuff. Like her sister got married out in California, and we flew out to the wedding on my ex-wife's family's jet. And yeah. And she tells me this, that we're gonna fly on a jet, and I'm like, oh sweet, we're gonna fly on a jet. Like, can I like take some selfies like in the cockpit, like in my seat, and like put it on Facebook, tell everyone I know to suck my dick pretty much, because I'm on a jet. And she's like, no, that would be really bad taste. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm poor, that's what we do. Like, if you gave me a jet, I would put stickers on it. But you got, like, it was sweet, like flying in a jet, because there's no waiting involved at all. You just pull up to this little private airport. You park right up front like you're going to Target. You wheel your bags in. There's no security, because why would you blow up your own jet? Somebody loads the bags into the plane for you, and you take off in like 30 minutes. It is the whitest thing. Like, dude, have you ever had a day like when you feel extra white? You know what I'm talking? Like a cop waves at you, like that. It's like that times a jet. That's how white it is. I like talking about being white and how good it is on stage, because it really makes other white people nervous that someone's giving away our secrets on stage. Like, fine, be cool. But like, I like talking about it, like, because it's not gonna get better if we don't talk about it. And let's say, number one, white people, we're still racist, right? We've just got code words that we use now that we didn't use back in the day. And for the rest of y'all, I'm gonna break the white code. Shit's getting real on a Wednesday night. I'm driving down airport and I get pulled over, and it's just me and a girl I'm dating who looks exactly like me, but a girl. Cop gets down and he's like, oh, hey, y'all were speeding back there, but that's okay. I'll just give you a warning this time. But those were code words. This is what he meant. Oh, sorry. That's how good it is to be white. All right, you guys, thank you very much. I'm Brian Gaar.